92. Gotta get up.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Yes, we are live on Facebook as well as YouTube right now. And our guest for this morning, as promised, Dr. Martha Tara Lee from Eros Coaching. Good morning,
yes,
Martha.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Good
Thank
morning,
you.
Dr. Martha. It's so fun to have you in the studio every week because we know you're going to be talking about something that will get the tongues wagging.
That will stimulate our listeners.
And us as well. And today's topic, I mean, it's such a simple 2 words.
Yeah.
Romance scams. I mean, we've heard about them. We've heard about love scams over the telephone, over text, over Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh,
Just
and more.
simply, yes.
One word, yes.
And in Parliament, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that a new law has been passed, right? So scammers will now be caned.
At
Yep.
least 6 strokes.
And that includes
Romance scammers.
romance scammers.
Yes,
and
that's
those
right.
that are involved with it as well, not just the scammers themselves, may get up to 12 strokes. So
Are there-
that's pretty serious.
Are there many scammers out there? I mean, romance scammers?
Yeah, there's 190,000 and 3.7 billion that has been scammed out of Singapore. So when we talk about scam, of course, we are talking about people exploiting, like texting, saying you have the parcel and or you have the wrong address or you're going to be sued in court. But I think today we specifically focus on the romance because as a sexologist, I'm interested in the sex and romance part of life.
Okay, so how are people romance scamming people then? I mean, when you say scamming, I assume that these people who reach out are people that are unknown to you. They're not your friends and family, right? What are they saying to lure people in?
Okay, I think when we talk about romance scam, the first one we think about is all these dating apps where they first befriend you, then they say they run into trouble or they're stuck in customs, they have a parcel or they're sick or they're in the hospital, and there are actually people who are giving away their money just thinking that they are helping their potential partner, lover. So this is the most common one that we hear about.
Dating apps like the swipe left, swipe right kind
Yes,
of dating
swipe.
apps.
Swiping.
But how? Yeah, okay,
apps.
okay.
But I mean, I'm sure it's been happening for years and years and years, right? I mean, this whole you swipe right, it's like a blind date.
I mean, even before your things like Tinder and your Bumbles and all that,
Yeah.
I'm sure there were love scams already that
Right.
existed.
But how is
right?
this a problem though? How is it a scam? I mean,
Because with technology, it has facilitated it. It's a whole industry. We hear about all these places that actually house scammers in Myanmar.
Yeah.
And so this is a whole industry. We are talking about people who are trained, people who are given scripts, people who are really know what they're doing. And so there's a lot of shaming of the victims and saying that there's something wrong with you, that you're so gullible. But actually these people are so skilled at what
They're
they're
very
doing.
good, yeah.
And now we know about the abuse that's happening in these kind of camps.
do you have examples?
I have one
have
example
examples?
of something that happened actually in New Zealand. My aunt.
Okay.
Her husband recently passed away. I'd say recently, maybe the last couple of years. And he left her a sum of money. And she's been chatting to this person over Facebook who shares the same name as my uncle. That's my dead uncle.
Okay.
Same first name, so there's already a connection there of someone who's vulnerable and grieving. And he's managed to scam her out of all the money that my uncle has left her.
Wow.
And he's even tried to get her to sell the house. She went to the bank. The bank refused it because the bank kind of spotted it as a red flag, right? So they prey on people who have maybe lost partners. They're very, like Dr. Martha said, they're very, very smart.
Okay.
So they'll maybe use the same name as your ex-partner. They see an obituary or they see a story or something, and then they link the two together. They go through your social media. They're like, oh, this person is the ex-husband, or this is the child, and this, and they start to relate to your life, and you slowly get sucked in because all of a sudden there's this person that loves you, that cares for you, that wants to give you all their attention,
Whom you've not even met.
whom you've not
had
even
sex
met.
with even.
Nothing.
And comes up with all kinds of excuses why they cannot meet you.
Yeah, they're like, oh no,
Okay.
I've got to be posted to this country, or my old mother needs me, my dying aunt needs me, has got dementia and all that. All the stories are
Yes.
fantastic.
Okay, I love this channel on YouTube called Catfished. They actually have people who are victims, and then they go through the whole story of investigating the identity of the scammer, and a lot of it is unfortunately in Africa. So yeah, with AI and filters and whatnot, this definitely is happening a lot.
Okay.
And so this is exploitation of people in a more wealthy country, especially Singapore.
Yeah.
Okay, those are scams that happen online. What about scams that happen in person?
Exactly. So I'm thinking like the reason why you are bringing this up today is because I think people who have been scammed, even, without, having had physical contact and stuff like that, are now psychologically scarred. And so they can go and see you and you can help them perhaps.
Yes, of course, counseling can help to not be so hard on yourself, literally, because we tend to be very judgmental of what's good, bad, right, wrong. And so when we fall victim into these kinds of situations, we can really blame and shame ourselves so much so that it's hard to move on with life.
Right. I mean, that one has no physical contact involved, but I'm sure there's some people who have been scammed who have perhaps maybe slept with that scammer or whatever. We'll talk about that on The Big Show TV. In the meantime, here's Mimi Webb with I Met a Boy on Kiss 92.
Yeah, so what about we've heard all about the virtual scams and all that. Yeah, you've never even seen this person's real face, right? What about people who have actually met up with people?
Yes.
They've fallen in love, they've slept with the person, they've given all their heart and soul, and then all of a sudden this person runs off with their money.
Yeah, love scam is definitely possible. So be very aware. I think we know enough to know that once money is being brought up, this is a big red flag.
There was one actor, I remember that one came out in the news.
The old guy.
Some guy who used to act on Channel 5 and then he was sending money to
Lawrence Pang.
I think so,
The
yeah.
old guy,
Yes,
the Chinese
And he
actor.
was he lost a lot of money.
Philippines, I think it was the Philippines or one of those countries.
Yes, correct.
Philippines,
And he was so brave, right, to come forward. But look at the amount of hate comments there. You're so old and things like that. I think it's very true what Angel said. We do find ourselves feeling lonely, vulnerable, wanting some kind of validation. And when somebody is being nice to you consistently over extended period of time, you do let down your guard.
Of course, yeah. You think, oh my gosh, there's someone in the world made for me,
Especially if he's had like physical contact with the
I think
person.
even without, but
I
we're
think
talking about the
that's
physical
deeper,
side.
I feel. I mean, if people can be scammed without even having had sex with the other person,
Yeah.
can you imagine if this person uses sex, to scam others? It's for a guy, it's very easy.
Yeah.
For
I'm sure it goes
for some
both-
guys to get scammed.
I'm sure it goes both ways, right? Men and women.
Yeah, of course. So there's also the projection, of all the things that you're looking for in the spaces of the, the gaps in between. Like the person doesn't say much, but you fill in the gaps for yourself in your imagination and fantasy. So this is a very, very much preying on people who are vulnerable.
And they're like Dr. Martha was saying, they're so smart. They see that you're lonely, so they'll constantly give you attention. Then they'll hear like, oh, say your ex-girlfriend did this to you, so they will make an effort to say that they'll never do that to you. They prey on every single aspect.
And just because I wouldn't do that to you doesn't mean they won't.
No,
But
we
what
have
is it?
a
I
lot
need to
of-
ask you this because I'm sure many people are watching and they are thinking the same thing, right? I mean, sex scams have been going on for the longest time. What makes sex such a
Easy target.
powerful such a powerful tool for everything?
I think people will argue that we are primal and our sexual desire is biological. We do feel it. If you are a healthy person, yes, you do feel horny. And just because you are horny, maybe you don't really know how to express it. So this is why hiding behind a screen creates a sense of safety, and reaching out, chatting with people is one of the ways to get into the dating scene.
And I feel like with sex, it's so intimate. It's so vulnerable because, you've got no clothes on. You're like every part of you is exposed. And that's why it becomes so sacred in that sense, and that's why it's so powerful. Because if you let someone in like that, then all of a sudden the person has seen you without anything, and that's both like physical, both emotional, both like it's traumatic to open yourself up like that and then get cheated on.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah, I always say that sex is not just physical, mental, emotional. I definitely also consider it spiritual. And even when you say, oh, you know, you compartmentalize, but what about the wound to your soul when you've opened up yourself in that way? There's a lot of hormones and neurochemicals that actually happens during the process. So definitely you feel very connected, bonded with the partner.
Yeah, for sure.
But does it always have to be love? That's the thing. I mean, this day and age in this society, right? I mean, people are a little bit more casual.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not encouraging people to be casual. I know it's socially unacceptable once again, but that is the truth of the matter.
That's the
people
reality.
are casual, and single people like me, for example, you know, right now, I mean, it's not wrong. Right? I mean, if I meet other
Mutual.
single people and it's through mutual consent, for example.
And also
there's nothing
parents
wrong.
should be informed that this is actually happening in the world. Is not as simple, black and white, like 20, 30 years ago. It's
Yeah.
actually changed quite a lot. Things like sugar baby is coming up also.
Oh, tell us more. What's that?
So there was this case, right, on the 27th of October, where this 20-year-old, they had an agreement with their partner to have sex for money, and afterwards wanted a bigger sum. So made a rape report, and recently was sentenced to 12-month probation for this false report.
The girl was.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
okay.
Is that the term they use on these girls now? Sugar baby.
Yes.
So, but
yes.
that is
Sugar
not
baby.
the same as prostitution, right? I mean, there is money that's been exchanged, but their ultimate goal is it to sleep with as many people as they can for money, or is it to gain something else?
I think it's between them. You know, the term itself actually suggests it's just companionship, but we know there's a lot of pressure to do more.
Okay, let's talk about sugar babies on the Big Show TV. Oh no, on the Big Show.
Kiss 92 traffic.
A couple of situations to look out for. The first is on the PIE towards Tuas. There's an obstacle that's been spotted after Thompson Road. Avoid lanes 1 and 2. Also on the AYE heading towards the MCE, an accident at the exit to the PIE. And finally on the BKE towards the PIE after the KJE, avoid lane 1, yet another accident. Wherever you are, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Martha Lee from Eros Coaching. Before we go any further, I just want to tell everyone that we also have a Spot the Difference contest happening on our Facebook page right now. Okay, and we've got a great prize to give you.
That's right. Yeah, if you head to our Facebook page and see what you can spot is the difference between the two pictures, it might not be easy, it might be super easy, it might be staring you in the face. You could win $150 worth of store credits from First Bowl Rice Kitchen.
All right, good luck. And now back to Dr. Martha Lee. We were talking about a dating app called Sugar Baby, right?
Sugar Book, I think it's called.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
It's called
Yeah,
Sugar
we're talking about
there are
sugar
different
babies.
apps. There are different apps
So-
on this that
Yeah.
facilitates it.
So this is a dating app, is it?
Yeah, it's they have the app version, they have websites.
Okay.
So it is people seeking companionship for
Yeah.
money, and technically, even though it says companionship, is actually according to Project X, that's NGO since 2009, they say actually sugar dating is just unregulated sex work and there's no legal protection.
So
Sugar-
they're calling it sugar dating.
Yes.
Sugar dating.
Okay,
So,
I'm I'm a bit confused. So is this like, okay, we're not promoting dating sites, although people have been encouraging me to go on dating sites like Tinder and Hinge or whatever.
We're not
But I'm
promoting,
not-
but they're out there.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying here is that we talk about like Tinder all the time. Swipe left, swipe right. So what is this exactly? Is this
Sugar
an
Book?
app? Is it Sugar Book or Sugar Babies?
Sugar Book is like, it's like Facebook, right? Sugar Book is a platform where you one can go to find companionship.
So it's an app.
It's like a dating app, but more risky.
It's a platform.
Okay.
It's a platform.
And
yes.
recently, someone got scammed.
Through
Yes.
this particular
Tell us a little bit
platform.
more.
So yes, I was saying that they had an agreement with a gentleman, and then it was an X amount, and afterwards wanted more, which was not agreed on. And when this person refused, filed a rape claim, and subsequently was found to be lying, and then sentenced to 12-month probation for the false report.
The girl was.
Yes, the
right.
girl. Yes.
Okay.
So it's a bit like it is exploitation, sextortion.
But isn't that so stupid? Like, I mean, I'm listening to you right now, and this girl made a police report.
Yes, yes.
And this girl made a police report saying that
She was raped.
She was raped.
she was raped.
Because she didn't get the extra amount that she wanted after the deed.
Yeah, but did she tell this to the police when she?
No, of
I
course
think
not.
I
eventually
know, that's
came
why I'm
out.
confused here. I'm like,
Eventually
why would she
came
go
out.
and make a police report and say that?
She lied, basically. She lied
Because-
to the cops.
Ah,
There was no
False.
money. There was no money involved as long as the cops were.
right.
As long as the cops were.
Yeah, which is why I was
concerned.
a bit confused. I thought this girl went to the cops to say like, look, I
No.
charged this guy
No, no.
1,002 or 1,002. You're saying earlier on, but then he only paid me like a few hundred.
500.
I'm like, that's practically like going up to the police and say I'm
No.
a prostitute.
No, she did that.
That
She
was
lied.
the original arrangement.
Yeah.
And then she changed her mind.
Okay.
She
Yes.
decided to charge
So
him more.
then she cried rape.
Correct.
As a
Yes,
result of
yes.
that.
And then she got thrown into jail for crying rape.
Oh,
She's
but
the one that got thrown into jail.
okay. But how did they find out the real
Then-
story?
Investigation.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So could they have charged her for soliciting as well?
No, because she's above the age of 18. So if you are below 18, then if there's money involved, then it is illegal.
Right.
Because
So are you saying that this dating website or app or whatever, everyone is actually doing things for money?
it's money for companionship technically,
Right.
But behind closed doors, they will say, "Oh, there's chemistry," and then sex is definitely on the table.
So basically, they're all going to this website or this app or a few apps. I'm sure there are more than a few websites like this, looking for the same thing. Everyone's
Yes,
looking
yes.
for companionship, and
Looking
they know
for
what
sex,
they're-
essentially.
and they know what they're going to get.
Right.
Usually
know?
somebody with money, with somebody with one's money.
I'm going to look at this
Sugar
website.
baby. And so this is like the opposite. It's like the sugar daddies.
Yes,
So these are sugar babies. So these sugar babies are looking for sugar daddies.
yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This is getting quite interesting. We'll continue to talk to Dr. Martha Lee on the Big Show TV. It's 8:24.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you.
Yeah, so if you look at the website, I'm not going to tell you what website it is, but it's very easy to find. It states very clearly that there are sugar babies looking for sugar daddies and vice versa.
Yes,
You know,
that's
so
right.
anyone who goes to the website, it is very clear that they're doing that. So,
So,
what are the
yeah.
sugar babies looking for? Rich men.
Yes, people who are willing to pay them for
Oh.
their time
To
because
look
they
after them, perhaps. Is it?
Yeah, I mean it's a agreement, right? So it can be also let's meet and see how, or let's try one time and see how is the chemistry, like all kinds of terms to essentially get what they want. And the person with the money is the one with the power.
It's very clear here. It says where romance meets finance.
Oh.
Build and negotiate your terms of relationships. So everyone goes in knowing that this is what's going to happen.
So it's almost like back in the day, men would like what do you call
Catwoman.
mail order brides, right?
Yeah, but those you
Like
get
a male-
married to, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure some of these
Maybe some of them do.
sugar babies might get married as well. I mean, it's still a
But
dating
that's later
app.
on. But your mail order brides were like specifically, I'm going to marry you. You're going to be subservient. You know, you're going to serve me my meals and have children and stuff, right? That was very
Right.
clear.
Okay.
Not that I'm going to pay you for it.
Right.
They weren't paying them for it.
But surely, Dr. Martha Lee, this cannot be good for. I'm assuming these sugar babies are young girls. Maybe most of them are young. Are they aware that this could be detrimental to themselves because they are so young. You know, they might think it's a good idea to do these things now, but in future, perhaps this might be, they might be scarred psychologically.
Correct. I mean, anything there are pros and cons, and you can say they are of the age of consent. Yes, they are physically mature, but are they emotionally mature enough? When there's money involved, there's also control. So, is it true that is it really true that there is emotional connection versus being exploited?
Right.
I mean, I know what the guys are there for. They're obviously there for the younger girls who they can pamper and get attention from and all that. But what are the girls there for? It can't just be for the sex.
And surely they know they are being exploited. They are allowing themselves to be exploited.
Yeah, because nobody else is giving them the attention. At least if they pay these girls to do what they want, they can control it. Right?
Yes,
they can control
and
the
part
narrative.
of the control also is the girlfriend experience, where they might then ask for no condom. They might all these
Sorry, what do you mean by no
girlfriend
condom?
experience is no condom, bareback, the full experience, because they're paying for it, right?
I don't
But
get
that
it.
is-
Even married couples still wear condoms.
But that is even worse for the younger girls. Like
Yes.
we were saying, because a lot of the younger girls will get sucked into this, right?
So then, of course, whether there's monogamy, whether there's safe sex, whether there's STI, pregnancy risk.
Wow.
Oh no.
Okay, because I mean, it looks like these girls are definitely not going to land up with these guys
It's
necessarily.
not a marriage thing.
So
Isn't this a very immature, uneducated move for the men to approach girls and expect sex without a condom in this
Yeah.
day and age? You know what I mean?
It does happen. So that's why they say money talks, right?
But I know, but they're putting themselves at risk as well. It's not just the girls.
Yes.
You know?
So they are young and they are being exploited. They may feel being young, fearless, and not think through completely.
And it's just the money, right?
They may think that they will still be able to cope, but yes, there will be consequences. Like being deceived can be more damaging than money. They may have flashbacks, anxieties, ongoing distress. If there are cases of sexual assault, because after all, you are behind closed doors, it could lead to trauma.
And what
Not,
if-
not
yeah,
to
sorry.
mention the shame and the guilt and the fear of being blackmailed, the consequence to their reputation.
yeah.
And what if you end up getting pregnant like 10 times and having to have an abortion 10 times, or ending up with an STD that you cannot get rid
It's
of?
very hard for me
You
to
know?
believe that there are young girls like that.
In this day and
who
age,
are-
there's something like that happening.
So there's the pill. Of course, they can take the pill.
Yeah.
However,
There's
it
the
doesn't
sexually
protect against
transmitted.
STI.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
how, Dr. Martha Lee, let's say, okay, I mean, hopefully there are some of these sugar babies who are tuned in right now. What advice would you give them?
To really think through, is this really, really something that is that important to you, the money? Are you doing it? Is there such a thing as the right reasons? Because yes, Singapore is expensive, rising costs. There is the OnlyFans normalization. People are seeing intimacy as a gig economy, like partners coming and going. There's the algorithm,
Yep.
use of technology that causes us to feel lonely. There's instant gratification.
Yep.
There's social media that's
And then
driving
there's
this as well.
That's the whole, like, you're only young ones. So yes, this is essentially transactional intimacy, and you're monetizing your youth and the connection that you are offering. However, it's not that we are saying it's a sin, you're a bad person. There are people who justify it with survival, but the reality is the longer term consequences that one needs to think about.
I think there's nothing wrong with aspiring to carry that branded bag or wear those shoes or, but I feel like the girls are getting younger and younger wanting those material things because of social media. It's seen as normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's seen like I have to have a Rolex, I have to have
Yeah.
a Louis Vuitton bag because everybody has it. If I don't, I'm going to look like the one left out. I'm going to look poor.
And perhaps they're also thinking like, look, sex is a natural part of like being in a relationship or something like that, right? I mean, I'm not saying, once again, if parents are tuned in, I'm not saying that this is the right thing. I mean, we were all brought up a certain way. I was brought up to like, okay, you get married to one girl, save your virginity for that one girl, then get married to that girl. But what I'm saying is times have changed, and we're talking about this particular situation right now. Perhaps these young girls are thinking like, I'm going to be with my boyfriend anyway, and we're going to, sleep with each other, or I'm going to meet other boys and sleep. So I might as well just sleep with
and get money.
people and get paid.
Yeah, because they see it as a transaction. They don't see it as prostitution, or prostituting themselves. And
but it is.
I feel like, I'm not saying it's right, but if I can be I can be very gullible and I can be very naive. And if I had grown up during this age, I'd be afraid to get sucked into something like this. Because
Plus,
I'd want all the fancy stuff.
Yeah, we are the generation of fast fashion. There's fast dating.
I want the car. I want
everything
the
now.
watches.
Live for today because there's climate change and 2 wars happening. So yes, more and more people are really the YOLO generation. You only live once, and so yes, the reality is we are in a very, very different time.
Yeah. So, wow.
So what's the difference between, okay, now this is a little bit, I feel like a bit disturbing.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe because, of what it's called, like sugar dating, sugar babies. It's like, but, there are things like escort agencies and all that, and it's been going on for the longest time.
Yes.
And usually when I think of a social escort, I think of a pretty sophisticated lady, not too young, who would, dress up really nicely. You pay her to accompany you for an event,
a gala dinner or something,
or whatever. Of course, I mean, they always say like whatever happens after that, is up to the lady.
Yes, so I feel that's the illusion of it because.
But why does that feel a little bit more acceptable?
Yeah, maybe because of the age,
the maturity.
But really, it's just a different term because you have the escorts who can be independent. Then there are those who are part of an agency. Then there's a sugar baby. I feel like we are just using different terms for the same thing, which is prostitution.
I don't like the term sugar baby.
But I feel like the woman or the people that Glenn described, the ones that can hold their own conversations and go out to gala dinners, they have the emotional maturity to make a decision on their own.
Let me be the first to admit, I have met some of these social escorts.
And you can't tell, right?
And they are very, they're very intelligent.
Yeah.
You sit down with them, you can have a wonderful conversation with them. They're very worldly. Of course, you have local social escorts as well as
foreign ones.
Yeah. I have to say, I've only been to an event and found out like they are social escorts because they were accompanying some of the people there.
Right.
And of course, we sit down and we talk to them, and they're very attractive, very intelligent.
Yeah.
Very stimulating conversations.
Yeah.
You can have with them. So my idea of a social escort is that.
Yeah.
Right. Beautiful,
in control, in control, right?
Yeah.
In control.
I would not know that they are social escorts, but this whole sugar baby thing is like, it's very disturbing.
I wouldn't put it in the same category.
I wouldn't put it in the same category.
I know you're
as well.
saying different names for the same thing, but that is like, I'm in control. I'm going to make a decision. I'll do 1 today. I'll do 10 next week or whatever it is. This one is like, because I want all that kind of world, I need to do 100. You know what I mean? It's being driven by something else.
Yeah, and they seem so ignorant, right?
Yeah, and immature.
Well, I think that whether you call it one night stand, friends with benefits, or fling, essentially it is still stings. A rose by any other name that stings.
Is it because it's transactional?
I don't think it's just the fact that there's money exchange. There's also the power.
Yeah.
Because the person with the money holds the power. And this is probably one of the reasons why they choose to go for it. They can say, I don't have time, it's just convenient, I feel lonely. But in reality, sex is always on the table.
Right. And you're all about sex. You're a sexologist.
I'm all about sex. However,
But for the right reasons.
Yeah, when people are doing it for money, and there's no shame around it,
Right.
because if it's their life, it's their body, is their choice.
Yeah.
However, being disadvantaged by not knowing their rights, not knowing the legality behind it, and not having a voice.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful that you are sitting here and you're trying to turn some of these sugar babies around. You know,
Not
it's
just
not,
the
it's
sugar
not too
baby,
late.
but also the sugar daddies.
The men as well.
are
Let's
you
talk
Yeah,
about the
let's
men.
talk about the
It's
men when
fair.
we go on here.
Let's talk about the men.
Yeah.
Tenure and the line itself to improve its economic viability.
The Straits Times, 180 years of news you can trust. Online at straitstimes.com.
Kiss 92.
I listen all day. My favorite station. We love it.
Kiss 92.
Turn it up.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the CTE towards the SLE at the Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1 exit, an accident. Also on the PIE towards Tuas, another accident at the exit to Jurong West Avenue 2. Wherever you are, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We are talking to Dr. Martha Lee, our sexologist from Eros Coaching. And today it's it's interesting, but I think it's also a bit complicated. I mean, we were talking about some of the recent scam cases in Singapore. I have a list of it. Just a recap very quickly. 15th of September of this year, 23-year-old jailed for 11 months for cheating a man of $8,100 while pretending to be underage. 27th of October 2025, a 20-year-old was given 12 months probation for a false rape report after a payment dispute. And the police have noted that these romance-linked scams have been rising since 2023, and some of it involves sexual extortion or financial blackmail, and some of these people also sometimes they threaten to leak intimate images and all that, and use criminal intimidation and extortion methods as well. So it is something that I think is very relevant, and I'm glad you're here talking about it today, Dr.
Yes.
Martha Lee.
So both the cases that Glenn mentioned are both the girls that got thrown into jail, right? And we've been talking about the girl side, the sugar baby side. But what about, where there is demand, there will be supply, right? And that's when all the sugar babies come out because there's so many sugar daddies looking. So let's talk about the men that are looking. Who are these men?
These
They
are
married,
people-
they old, they young, or they of all colors and sizes?
I don't think they are all married. I think there are those people who just decide to do it because they are busy and they want it their way when they want it. And so it's a matter of convenience and power. However, I don't know whether they truly think about the exploitative part of it.
Exploitative as in they are being exploitative to the girls?
Yeah, because you are the boss essentially and you set the rules. And essentially, if somebody is in a disadvantage where you are their paymaster, of course you would bend your will to accommodate someone.
I'm not backing up the actions of the men, but how can it be exploitation in this particular case when there are willing parties?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The girls are there because they want the money.
Yeah, and,
You know what I mean?
I think, not all guys are bad.
Yeah, I know,
Right?
exactly.
No,
yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
some guys who perhaps don't want to start an affair. They're married. They don't want to start an affair, a real love romance or something with someone else. But they are being, they have their needs as well. So it's a transaction, a one-time thing.
You can also argue lesser harm is not harm when actually
It is
it's
harm.
still harm. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but like Dr. Martha said, not all of them may be married. Some of them just don't have the time to date.
Right.
But they want
there's-
that,
Yeah.
So
know?
there's cheating of different degrees, but yes, if you're single, does it also mean that you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want, have multiple sugar babies because you can afford it?
Does it mean you can?
It's their life, it's their
Yeah.
choice, but
Yeah.
essentially they need to ask themselves, are they distracting themselves? Are they running away from something? Or, what is it really, the underlying motivations?
Well, I can
And
have.
a lot of
I'm
times,
single. I can have as many
Yeah.
sugar babies as I want if I want it. Right?
course,
but
of course.
But it does not turn me on. I like the chase. I like to go to an event and meet someone and perhaps maybe, call
Do
her
that
up
little
another
courting
day,
bit, yeah.
go out
Yeah.
for dates and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that
The
I'm going to
romance.
marry them, but I like that part.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I
The
like
push and pull,
meeting
yeah.
people and we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe we become friends first and stuff like that, right? But there are many men who perhaps
Don't like
maybe
the chase.
Yeah.
they don't like the chase. They just need, what they need.
They don't have the time. So how can, if we're talking to the men out there that are thinking of or are already involved in actions like this, how can we put the message out there to make it safer, more empathetic, more, more compassionate for the girls that are also looking?
Well, we can think of it, yes, this is your private life, this is your private choice. However, are you exploiting economic desperation? There are people who are truly desperate, and is this really the right thing to be doing? It is a choice. Yes, we have bills, we have loans, we have family, but it is truly unequal. I think what Glenn is saying, dating someone, is really being on the same footing, and despite maybe age difference, but still being as equal as possible. But here we are talking about there's also money involved, and there's so much power behind money.
But he has time. See, he's got all the time in the world. Some people don't. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
that is true. That
you
is
have
true.
the time for that tug of war. With like, I take one step forward, the girl takes one step back, then she comes
Yeah.
on. It's all that play, right? But some people, like you said, don't.
Yeah, and the silence around this, I think, normalizes it as a society, because we don't talk about sex, we don't want to talk about all these, but definitely there's a lot of intersectionality.
So you're telling the girls don't do it, the girls who are sugar babies, don't do it, and you're telling the guys to
Back off.
Back off. Yeah, I was about to say that. Okay, let's continue to talk to
Think
Dr.
twice, think twice.
Think twice. Okay, let's ask Dr. Martha Lee why she says think twice. I thought she wants everybody to just have sex. Okay, this is Robin with Dancing on My Own. We'll continue to talk to Dr. Martha Lee on The Big Show TV.
So,
Yeah, shouldn't you be
Yeah.
encouraging sex of all types and forms?
Well, I like sex. I
You're such a
support
good
people.
person. We're getting to know you, a lot more. I mean, you're all about sex, but you're all about
Proper.
love as
Yeah,
well, which is great.
proper.
I think I support people with their autonomy. This is your life. That I call it the good, bad, and ugly side of sex. And most people do not want to talk about the ugly side, which is what we are doing today, where there's money involved. Is this really safe? Is this equal? Is this fair? Is this just going to leave a bitter taste?
But am I a bad guy, let's say, from a guy's point of view, since we're talking about guys, right? I know, I'm going to get like a lot of flack for saying this, right? But I do not feel like this whole transactional thing is wrong. Because I feel like a lot of men, the reason why they do it is because they really need it. So apart from, of course, guys who are like, using their financial wealth, to perhaps maybe abuse or exploit. But I believe that not all men are like that. They might transact and be gentlemen and basically be happy after, right? Because they have no other choice. And as I mentioned earlier on, I mean, it's very heartbreaking, let's say, if a man were to start another relationship and then, let's say, the wife or whatever finds out, that he is in love with someone else. When in fact, that should not even be the case, You should only love one person, But I feel less damaging if this person does everything above board, does not complicate matters and transacts just basically so that he feels normal and human. Because I've heard stories from some men who need, that physical affection and physical touch and emotional affection, but they don't have anyone.
So you're
to
saying
do that for them.
pay for the sex outside and
Yeah.
keep the peace at home.
Exactly.
Right? That's what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
No,
like-
I know it's not right.
It
but
sounds.
as humans, we need this.
But I also
There's
wanna-
always a choice. One
Yeah.
can masturbate.
But it's not the same.
It's not the same. Yes, we have.
Okay, man, you're asking me to. Let's say
Yes,
I'm
yes.
single now, right? I have no girlfriend. You asking me to masturbate
Go
for
to
the
the
rest of my
bathroom.
life?
But it's also a choice. It is a choice. So people who keep saying I have no choice, yes, you have skin hunger. You want the physical intimacy, but be mindful. You can get the sex, but not the love, not the care.
Yeah.
So what about the emotional intimacy? I do know of people who feel very empty afterwards as well.
Also, no, I did want to go back to you said it is a power move for transactions to happen and all that. But when it comes to this sugar daddy, sugar baby thing, I completely disagree. I don't think there's any power inequality because as a girl, if I were a girl growing up during that time, or this time, I would say, no, this is what I want. I want to get those material things. So I am going to be using my power
Right.
and my body
Yeah.
to control that.
Yeah.
And although the men think they're in power because they're giving the money,
You are
haha,
smarter than
I
they
am
think.
the one
Yes.
in control because
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I think so too.
So
I don't think
it's-
these sugar babies
yes.
are
No,
dumb at all.
It's
no.
also the way you think about it that
Yeah.
will help you to get through it, right?
That's true, yeah.
So if you start off feeling really bad about it, then
it's gonna affect
more,
you later
more
on.
likely to be bad.
Yeah.
However, when you put a price to your soul, there's always damage.
Well, that could come like
yeah.
20, 30 years, down
Yeah.
the
This is
road.
where the
but-
trauma comes in, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't hit them until later.
Later,
Okay,
yeah.
let's go back on.
Kiss 92 traffic.
All right, we've got a situation on the ECP heading towards the city. An accident after Still Road South, avoid lane 2. Also on the TPE towards the PIE after Seletar Link, yet another accident. If you're in the car, remember to have everyone buckled up, and those indicators are there for a reason. Stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We have been speaking to Dr. Martha Lee from Eros Coaching. Thank you so much once again, Martha, for coming in. You know, we could have like another session and continue to talk about this because obviously, I mean, we have to wrap up already. As you can see, Shalini is panicking already. Maybe we should continue this, next week when Tim is back.
And you are away.
Oh my goodness, yes, right. I'll be away next week.
That's right. Yeah, we'll never be the three of us until
But this
God
is
knows
so
when.
interesting though, because I mean, there's a very fine line, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I think that sugar baby,
Sugardating.
who is in jail now, who tried to, who made a report that some guy
False
raped
report,
her.
yeah.
Because what was it? It was a dispute about the amount of money. Is it that she was charging him?
She changed the amount of money after the fact.
Oh wow! Okay,
Yeah.
that must have been really scary for the guy. But I've lost my train of thought now.
Okay. You want to think about it while I read Matthew's comment?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Matthew says, and I think Matthew thinks along the lines as I do, is the assumption that those on sugar dating sites are always very young and desperate for money. Could it also be that some of them are just in it to make money consciously? We can't rule out that some are like those who are on dating apps who are there just for the flings.
Right.
Which is true. Because
It's
some
true.
people, they don't want a transaction, right? They
Yeah.
just want the affair.
Yeah.
Or
okay.
the fling.
I remember now.
Then be on a different platform.
Okay.
Okay, you
Here we
recommend
go.
the platforms.
Oh, no.
Okay, this is okay. This is what I was thinking of just now. So this particular girl who scammed the guy, right? I bet you all the sugar babies, right, are so pissed off with her. Because look, if you do things properly,
by
then you
the
don't
book,
give
yeah.
everyone else a bad name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Spoiling the
because all
market,
the other girls
basically.
could have been like, okay, they're just like doing things in a proper way,
Yeah.
right? And wanting to stay as anonymous as possible. But this particular girl, did a criminal act.
It was a stupid move.
It was a stupid move,
Yeah, it
which gave everybody else
a bad name.
a bad name,
Yeah.
so to speak. I mean, we wouldn't be talking about this if not for
the case.
the case, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
That's what-
think it's
that's what I wanted to say.
if not them, somebody else.
That's true. It would have come up anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, we can go on talking about this, man.
So yes, just now we were talking about the trauma that can happen because there is really no price tag to our soul.
Right.
And so yes, you can say it's a choice, but you didn't sign up for the consequences. I think you cannot anticipate all the horrible things that can possibly happen even in your wildest imagination.
Yeah.
And a touch wood, even if everything is okay, above board, smooth, there's mutual agreement,
Yep.
you don't feel exploited, but still, what about the lingering effects that can happen?
Yeah.
So if somebody would ever say is their conscious choice, first I would really get them to consider carefully and to have a safety plan. Also access to resources of support like Project X, Aware, and also She Support. Actually, there is a new center, quite new, called She Cares at SCWO. It's a one-stop center for people who have experienced online sexual harms.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because somebody who's going through this now, who's maybe 19, 20 years old, when she's 45 and has 3 children, stuff like this comes back and bites you.
Like what
In the behind,
like
you know
the
what I mean?
fear of the fear of the past coming up, to
Running
haunt
into
them.
someone that perhaps was a transaction back in the day.
and
you know what
comes
I mean?
back and blackmail them.
Yeah, or blackmails you.
Or
Yeah.
took hidden videos.
Video of you. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that can happen, especially this day and age.
Right. So you see, Dr. Martha Lee is here to discourage you from choosing this path. So, I mean, if you are watching right now and you were thinking of choosing this path or have been doing this for a short period of time or whatever, and you feel like you need to talk to someone, go look for Dr. Martha.
And there are other ways to make money.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much, Martha. Hey, wait, anything up and coming?
Yes, so I have this weekend uncovering Eros. Can check out my website Eros Coaching under events. So this weekend, full lineup of presenters on all kinds of topics around sexuality, including sex and faith, and also sex and parenting, explaining about sexual dysfunction. Yes, and then I also have on the 20th of November, Raising Boys in the Digital Jungle. So this is linked to how challenging it is raising conscious boys as parents. So yeah, check out my website.
I think that's a really good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a dream about you the other day.
Oh.
What kind?
It was not a dirty dream, lah.
Is this
But I
a
was-
topic for another day?
No. I can mention now. See whether
Okay.
it's a good idea or not. Because sometimes these ideas come to me in dreams.
Okay, tell us what this.
So this dreamer was like Dr. Martha Lee and myself were doing a podcast together.
Oh, nice.
Our
Okay.
podcast. And you know what our podcast is called?
What?
Erostica.
Erostica. Do you like that?
What do you think?
I wanted it to be called Sex Ed for Glenn.
For Glenn.
Glenn needs a lot of sex ed.
What?
Uh-oh.
You know, but I think maybe we have something there. And it will be produced by Shalini Susan.
Okay.
Awesome.
Silence.
A podcast. Dr. Martha Lee and me.
Sex education for Glenn.
This will be the biggest podcast in the history of Singapore podcasts. Let me just tell you that. You think there are some good podcasts out there? If Martha and myself were to do the sex podcast, oh my goodness.
Good luck with managing that ego as well. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more. All right. Yes or no? Come on, you tell us, okay? 88550920. You want Martha and myself to do a podcast? Thank you so much. Dr. Martha Lee.
Thank you.
Glenn, Angel, and Tim.